Up next, viewers, we're getting some more visuals from Ukraine, in fact, where a drone attack has taken place by the Ukraine, which has destroyed the Russian military convoy as well. We are showing you those visuals, in fact, from Ukraine, where the Russian convoy had made its way, and now it has in fact been struck down by the Ukrainian drone. We had seen several visuals of ground-to-air warfare as well that had taken place from the Ukrainian side, where they had shot down several missiles as well, launchers that had been placed near Kyiv as well. And now we see the latest visual where a Russian convoy has also been struck down by the Ukrainian drone. Another Russian convoy that we had seen in Kharkiv, which visuals we had shown you just a few minutes back, where another Russian convoy had been reduced to debris by the Ukrainian troops. And now we see the drone attack from the Ukrainian troops that has struck down a Russian convoy here in Ukraine as well. We have been getting those images from the time that the escalation has begun, viewers, where the Russian troops have been making their way towards Kyiv, and also the posturing that they had made in terms of statements claiming that there will be rocket launchers that will be kept near Kyiv. But now we see on the ground a stiff resistance that the Russian troops have been facing from the Ukrainian army, and also not just the army on ground, but the Ukrainian drones that are also now being used as a form of an important part of the artillery of the war chest of Ukraine, is also being used to struck down Russian convoys. Sucharita also joins us from the Delhi newsroom, along with Aishwarya Kapoor as well. Sucharita, talk to us about these visuals, the stiff resistance that we have been talking about on the ground. Russian convoy, another convoy that has now been struck down by Ukrainian drones.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not Vash.
Well, absolutely. These visuals are self-explanatory. Me and Sucharita, we are here in the newsroom, and Sucharita, the visuals on the English channel right now are of this Ukrainian drone putting down the Russian convoy. So the technology which is being provided by the European countries, by the Americans, are being used against the Russians in a massive way, Sucharita.
This is massive, a drone attack by Ukraine on the Russian troops, and Ukraine very, very clear that it wants to give a befitting reply. Ukraine very clear that it's going to fight every inch, and it's going to give a reply to the Russian forces. And we've seen this earlier in the day, Aishwarya. We've seen them attacking Russian troops. We've seen them attacking the Russian military convoy. And this is another one that we're seeing, and it's a massive drone attack which the Ukrainians have done. And they want to make it very clear that they are going to fight every inch. Now, this visual just gives us an insight into what the Ukraine army has been planning.
And it also tells us, Sucharita, that it is not that easy for the Russians, because these visuals show, and those numbers which are coming from the Ukrainian sides of 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, more than 2,000 Russian soldiers being put down, it just gives a glimpse that it's not a cakewalk for the Russians to take over these massive cities of Ukraine, whether it is Kyiv, Lviv, or now Kharkiv. So this is just one of those visuals coming out where we can very, very clearly see that the Ukrainian drone, and this is the new technology which was just provided few months prior by the Germans and by the other countries to Ukraine to protect itself, and that's exactly what seems to be happening. They're using this to protect themselves and attacking the Russian convoys. Very, very successful.
Right, and the Ukrainian army making it very clear that they also have a military arsenal. It's not like you can put them down.
Oh, yes.
They've made it very clear that they have a military arsenal. They're going to fight tooth and nail. And this is exactly the picture that gives you a glimpse of what the Ukrainian army is capable of. What we are seeing right now is a drone attack, and they're capable of many more such drone attacks. And if they do that, because it's been very clear that the Russian troops are marching into different cities of Ukraine. They're marching into Kharkiv. They're marching into Kyiv. And there will be an attempt by Ukraine to stop these forces there, because there is still, they're looking at the prospect of a talk, Aishwarya.
Oh,
they're looking at the prospect of a talk,
absolutely.
And if there has to be a talk, there has to be a stopping in somewhere, and Ukraine wants to make it very clear that we're still on the talking table. We are not going to put down, we are not going to be put down so easily, and that is why we are going to be
two sets of visuals, Sucharita, which we are showing right now. One is of that attack of the drone on to the Russian convoy, and then the other one is of the soldiers looting a departmental store, a grocery store in the heart of Ukrainian cities. So this is the reality of war. This is exactly what happens in war. No one enjoys it. There is devastation all over. And what happens in a war, and the reality is that Russia is fighting a war not only against Ukraine, but against the world. If you don't have these European countries and then the Americans sending in their soldiers on foot, they have financial credit lines. You have half a dozen European countries giving them, whether it is Germany, whether it's Italy, whether it's France, you have them giving in military aid, arsenal, artillery supply. So it's literally Russia versus the world at this point of time. And who's going to pay the price? It's the people. It's the people at the end of the day, whether it is on the Russian side or on the Ukrainian side, paying the price of this. And the latest visuals coming in of that Ukrainian drone putting down the complete convoy of the Russian army.